Check it out. This is my technology review show, and this being my first show, I thought I'd take a look at the Sony HXR-NX70 video camera. I was really excited about this camera, and overall it's a great camera, but it's not for me. As for who this camera is marketed to, my best guess is lawyers who shoot depositions in the desert during monsoon season who like to practice their golf swing and shoot porn. Why lawyers? Because it's pretty pricey for what it is, and they may be the only ones who can afford it. Why the desert during monsoon season? Because this thing is dust and rainproof, not waterproof. Only submerge this thing in water if you want it to stop working. Why depositions? Because of the Pro Audio adapter, which is not dust or rainproof. And why golf? Because of the absurdly weird golf shot mode. And why porn? Well, this thing has the widest angle built-in camera lens I've ever seen on a camera besides the GoPros. So let's start with the lens and work our way back through the camera. It's not detachable. It's f1.8 wide and f3.4 zoomed in. The zoom is 10 by. There's a handy Panasonic-like lens shutter cover. Now the lens ring can control focus, iris, or zoom. And there's an autofocus toggle button underneath to help a brother out when he's not sure. There's also an auto iris toggle and expanded focus, which blows up the image pixel per pixel on the display for critical focus, and buried deep in the menus is a peaking adjustment for pros who feel like drilling into menus. So now let's check out the sensor. This is why I got so excited about this camera. I just assumed that since Sony had come out with their f3 and FS100, and they both had huge Exmor sensors, then this one would also have a huge Exmor sensor. And I could finally get that depth of field. Plus, having a nice zoom lens with length control over iris for multicam occasions would be the cherry on top. Well, what can I say? That was a bad assumption. It turns out the size of the sensor is 6.2 millimeters, which is crazy small. At least that's what it says in the back of the manual. The manual that really isn't online, so it's really hard to find the actual size of the sensor. Almost like Sony was trying to hide something. Weird. So, small sensor means everything is in focus and no shallow depth of field, which is good if you're shooting porn, but not when you're trying to tell a story, visually. Past the sensor, we get into formats. I hope you like 1080 because that's it. It will shoot in SD, but come on, it's not 1950 anymore, so you've got 1080i, P, and 24. This may be the first camcorder I've seen that will shoot 1080 60p. Not a fan of 1080? No problem. You can cross, up, and down convert your favorite format through the weird proprietary AV output or mini HDMI port. There are many levels of codec quality, between high and crap, which make for very impressive looking charts. Did you forget your super fancy high-speed SD card? No problem. This camera has built-in 96 gigabytes of internal storage. This camera has 4 modes: movie mode, photo mode, smooth slow record mode, and golf shot mode. I'm just going to jump straight to the absurd one first. Golf shot mode? Really? I'm guessing a higher up at Sony wants to improve his golf swing and thinks everyone else does too. Here's how it works. You hit record just after the swing and voila! Instant junior high physics book photo. They put a lot of thought into this one. Seriously. It listens for the ping of the ball and places it 1.5 seconds into the group of stills. And then you've got 0.5 seconds of follow-through after. But use a tripod or else you'll get really weird results, like windows showing through your subject. Smooth slow record is overcranking, 200 frames per second, which is better than any camera out there for the price point. The quality is lower than 1080, but I'm not sure what you'd expect. You can choose to either record the previous 3 seconds or the next 3 seconds from when you hit record. This mode would be fun for a physics class. Movie mode, it's why you're buying this camera. Photo mode, seriously, what's the point? If you've got $3,000 to drop on this, then you've got $500 to drop on a X3. Audio. The built-in mics are nice.
What's my pacifier?
And now that you don't have to worry about the whir of heads spinning and tape transport motors getting into your sound, your B-roll has never sounded better. It does come with an audio adapter that is almost as big as the camera itself, and may have more buttons and switches and knobs than the camera. And let's face it, the camera looks way more impressive with it on. You may also be thinking, sweet, now I can make all my terrible camera audio sound better, like on my Canon 7D. Well, you'd be wrong. The way this attaches is through the most proprietary hot shoe connector I've ever seen. If you're an audio person, then this is pretty straightforward and everything you'd need, except for one switch. The record channel select is kind of confusing. In the up position, input 1 records to both channel 1 and 2, so you can fake some headroom. Conversely, switch this bad boy down and input 1 goes to channel 1 and input 2 goes to channel 2. It makes sense right now while I'm telling it to you, but just wait until you're in the middle of a deposition in the desert. Seriously. Output. You've got component and composite via the proprietary breakout cable and HDMI. And if you happen to have a USB hard drive, just hook it straight up to the camera and offload that way. You can go through a computer if you want to, but you don't have to. This also may be a first at this price point. File format, .mts. So if you want to instantly see your shot, use Premiere. Or if you like to import, use Avid. Or if you like to use log and transfer, use Final Cut. Other stuff. After the 5th time of searching for the hard menu button on the camera, which isn't there, I finally reprogrammed my brain to use the touchscreen. Once you get used to it, it's kind of nice. Digging through menus for white balance is a drag, and the touch sensitivity is not at all like an iPhone. Being able to zoom and record from the touchscreen is a plus. Also, the touch to track focus is pretty cool. You can throw the whole camera into auto mode, if you need to hand it off to a novice. The histogram button is good if you're used to Photoshop, and the night shot button is ready for Paris Hilton's next big debut. And there's, of course, steady shot, for those of us who have a touch of Parkinson's when we shoot handheld. Playback from the unit is easy like a Mac, groups of icons laid out over a timeline, just pick the day you want, and it'll play clips back to back for you. Overall, I'd say this camera makes you look like a pro, and it makes you proud to have an HD television.
If you're looking to make one of these your very own, give the good folks at Texas Media Systems a holler at 512-440-1400 or on the web at texasmediasystems.com.